Well, hey folks, and welcome to another little episode of Real Country with Jeff and Melanie. Today's little video is going to be on planting carrots. Never really tried a lot of these before. As I've said in the past, our little farm is small. Got about 4 acres, and our property, the land, is kind of on a plateau system. We have a fairly level, about an acre front yard, and then it kind of drops off a little bit, and then it kind of levels out for the backyard, which is about an acre. We got puppies. That's another story. Bear with me, I'm sorry. But the backyard's semi-level, and then it stays fairly level, but then when you get past the backyard into our garden area, the garden's kind of on a sideways cant, and then it generally rolls downhill for the back 2 acres down in the bottom. And there's a little plateau 3/4 of the way down of it. But really, the best level ground we have on our little farm is going to be the front yard or the garden area. And the garden area is really not that big. So this year, trying to have a good garden and wanting to maximize our produce, our food, and have some hopefully to take to the local farmers market and sell, we're going to try something a little different. I'm thinking about leaving my main garden for the big crops, like my corn, my rows of peas and butter beans, maybe even my watermelons. But then all my other crops, I think we're going to try our hand at some hydroponics and a lot of raised beds and container gardening. A lot of people do it. They have a good luck, and that's something that I can do and use some of this front yard space without literally getting out here and just plowing up my entire front yard. Now, we live out in the county, out in the country. I could do it, but we want to have a pretty much regular front yard like everybody else. So rather than plow it up and have rows of corn growing in the middle of your front yard, I'd kind of getting away with backing a trailer or a boat up. Just figured around the edges, some of the side rails, around some of the outbuildings and things. We'd try raising some crops in 5-gallon buckets, building raised beds and containers, and experiment, see how it works. So the first thing we're going to try doing it this way, well, let me back up. It probably ain't the first thing, because just a little while back we did a little thing. We're starting our radishes in containers. Now those are going to stay in the backyard area. But here in the front, went and bought some 5-gallon plastic buckets at the store. We drilled some drainage holes around them, and went to the dollar store. And the first thing we're going to try in the 5-gallon buckets is going to be these dollar store 4 for $1, 25 cents a piece pack of seeds. And these happen to be Danvers half-long carrots. Let me get it up here. They look pretty. Maybe we can grow them and find out. But you get quite a lot in each pack. And like I said, I really haven't had a lot of experience growing carrots. I didn't realize how teeny tiny those seeds are, so I've probably got enough carrot seeds for Bugs Bunny and half the country. But anyway, according to the little information on the pack, these seeds take 7 to 14 days to germinate, break through the ground. You need to plant them about a 1/2 inch deep and roughly 2 to 3 inches apart. And in about 70 days, just a little over 2 months, you should have carrots ready to harvest. And so we're going to give them a try. And I'm going to walk you through the process, show you a little bit. It's not exactly how I wanted to do it, and I'll explain that later. Right now I'm going to show you, we got the bucket sitting on the front porch, and I'm out here in front of the front porch. I'm going to show you how to plant 2 buckets real quick. But we've got supposedly a heavy rain coming. Going to start lightly this afternoon, And probably, if it does what they say, we're going to have a lot of rain the next 2 days. So because of that, I'm going to plant these buckets. I've already planted 3 yesterday evening. I'm going to plant 2 more buckets today. We're going to very lightly water them. Carrots don't take a whole lot of water. If you put too much water in there, they'll grow and it'll cause the carrots to crack. And we don't want that. So we're just going to lightly water them. And for today, until this heavy rain passes and until they sprout up good and get established, we're going to, during the heavy rain, we're going to leave these buckets sitting on the front porch. But then once we get past the bad rain and the carrots bust up, start looking pretty, we're going to bring them out in front of our little front barn and place those buckets around the outside. Our front yard in the summertime, we usually get a good 8 hours to 9 hours of full sun. So they should get plenty of daylight. And we'll just come out there and water them periodically and see what we can do. Yeah, the babies hear me talking behind me, the puppies. And how we're going to do it is just we're going to take regular old 5-gallon bucket. Now I cheated and went ahead and done this the other day. I should have filmed it, but just take a 5-gallon bucket and I'm going around the side about 3 places, kind of space them out. Drill little drainage holes about 1 inch off the bottom of the bucket, and that way the water can drain through. And I've said it before, potting soil that you buy at the store is not like it was when I was young. Back then it was real good potting soil. Nowadays I bought a lot of brands. This mainly compost. And I went and bought some field dirt the other day, and it was mainly clay. So all that dirt I bought the other day, the truckload, I'm mainly going to use that to fill holes where drainage and dogs have dug a hole in the yard, things like that. So I'm trying to make my own potting soil mix. So what I did was I went and bought all this stuff at the big box stores. I bought just a cheap bag of topsoil. I'm going to put 1 bag of topsoil in a wheelbarrow. About the equivalent of 1 bag of peat moss, 1 bag of black cow manure. I like it the best. And then I take, you know, those ceramic soup mugs that you eat a can of soup out of, a little bit bigger than a coffee cup. I'd say close to double. I take one of those of bone meal, one of those of blood meal, one of those of vermiculite, and then I put it all in a wheelbarrow and add a little rabbit manure to it. Rabbit manure doesn't go through a heat like other manures, so you can take it straight from the bunny, go straight into your plants. It will not burn it up. But I mix all that together, and then I filled up my 5-gallon buckets. And when you're done, oh, this is what it looks like. Pretty rich soil. And hopefully it'll do real good. And then, like I said, to space them, to plant them, you only want to plant them about a 1/2 inch deep. So my big old ugly finger from that joint right there to the tip is just about 1 inch. So I come off the wall and just go about halfway down that finger and then stick over about 3 inches and just kind of roll it around the bucket. Don't want to get too close to the wall. Don't want to get too close to each other. And like I said, this ain't rocket science. We ain't got to be perfect. Excuse my improper English, but it's just me and you talking. Nobody knows I'm country. And then kind of come off here, space it in between. You're not going to get a whole lot in here, but if you space them right, each one of these ought to take off and do pretty good. So I've already did this in this little bucket as well. So now this is going to be the tricky part. Y'all bear with me just a second. See if I can open up this pack of seeds I done tore open. Uh-oh, there's a camera boo-boo. I see it coming. This pack of seeds ain't wanting to open correctly. So you're going to see drunk Cam for a second shaking shaking the camera, earthquake. Alright, you can hear my crackling. I'm going to put a few of these seeds on a sheet of notebook paper. And that way, and these are some teeny tiny little jokers too. And I'm not going to bore you with everything. But roughly, I'm going to pull about 2 of these out. And we're going to drop 1 or 2 seeds into the hole. And then just lightly cover it. And do this all the way around. Until we've got at least 2 seeds in each hole. Then later on, after they sprout good, to make sure we have optimum growth, we're going to come back and thin them out and probably just have 1 per hole. I know we're wasting a little bit of seed probably, but you don't know which seed will germinate, which seed won't. We're going to drop it right there. Uh-oh, and I'm about to have a tragedy over here. The wind's blowing. And the paper I got the seed on is curling up. It's probably going to be a bad drunk Kim video. There's one jumped. But if we have 2 pop up and one don't look real healthy, we'll pluck him out and put him in the compost bin. Alrighty. And like I said, these are some teeny tiny little seeds. I'm sure everybody out there but me has seen them before. It just wasn't something we normally grew here on the farm. There went one. Let me get another one. And my big old fat fingers, it's hard to pick up 1 or 2 of these little tiny jokers. Let's see if I can grab a couple of them. They're hard to pick up. All right. Well, like I said, folks, that's pretty much all there is to it. I won't bore you with the hard details. But just so y'all can see I wasn't lying to you, look at my old dirty hands. That is some teeny tiny little seeds right there. And the wind's blowing. I guess this front's coming in. And we're going to have a blustery afternoon, looks like. But we've got, I'll show you the puppies since we've been talking about the little whiny jokers. And I'll get my mister. There's our little puppies. Little boy and little girl. They're just getting ready. And here's the 3 buckets I did last night. Like I said, I just lightly watered these. We will move these out when it gets a little bit drier. But I've got this little atomizing type spray gun, water container, whatever you call it, waterer. And we're just gonna lightly mist that out there. We don't want to soak it big time. And this little waterer, as neat as it can be, you pump it up, pressurizes it. A little mister. Now they claim you can use it for everything under the sun. But just to lightly get these seeds damp and start them out is really all I want. You don't want to drown it and soak it as tiny as them seeds are. And you're only planting it about a ½ inch deep. But yeah, that little mister is as neat as it could be. We picked it up over at Harbor Freight the other day. About $6, $7. We will get a lot of use. And quick as I cut the camera off, I'm going to repeat right here. And then we'll have 5 buckets. And as you can see, roughly you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If we grow 11 in each one of these buckets, just this haul, that'll be 55 big fat juicy carrots that I look forward to. We can slice up, put in the freezer, eat them fresh. And before it's over, I will be planting more buckets. I'm actually going to plant some in a raised bed as well. And we're going to try to plant every couple of weeks all spring and summer to hopefully have as many carrots as we can harvest. But folks, I thank y'all for watching. I hope this was entertaining. Hope you learned a little bit. I'm trying to learn as we go because I certainly don't know everything. But we'll check back on this once they break the ground. We'll show you how we're doing, keep you updated. And then I'm going to mark my dates of planting on my calendar. And around 70 days, we'll try to show you what they look like when we harvest them. And hopefully it'll turn out good. If it don't, we'll show you the boo-boo. But we're going to try our best. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for joining. We'll go through this experience together, see how it goes. But if you like the videos, please hit the like and subscribe. Tell your friends, stick around. Hopefully by the time summer gets here and we start getting closer to harvest, I will walk you around the place and show you a full tour of how the front yard looks and the back garden and the hydroponics we're fixing to get going. And hopefully we can show y'all some pretty produce this year. But till next time, good Lord's willing, the creek don't rise. We'll see y'all down the road. Thank you.